Millions of seniors make these 12 dangerous blunders every day. Are you unwittingly reducing your life after 70? I'm going to give you 4 words you need to quit saying right now. If you want to live safely and independently well past 70, there are 4 things you must stop doing now and 4 places you must never go alone. 80% of seniors over 70 frequently visit a location that emergency room physicians now refer to as a hidden death trap. And in a few minutes, I'll tell you exactly which one it is. Vivian, a shrewd 73-year-old from Denver, believed she was taking all the necessary precautions to maintain her independence and health. Then, in one heartbreaking week, she almost lost all she had spent a lifetime building because of something she said to her doctor, a daily routine she wouldn't break, and a place she went to every Wednesday. Thousands of seniors experience what happened to Vivian each month, but you don't have to. You are physically reprogramming your brain for failure and hastened cognitive decline when you tell yourself or others that you are too old to learn new technology. The first rule is to never state, "I'm too old to learn new technology." Seniors who embrace acquiring new skills, particularly in the area of technology, maintain sharper cognitive function and experience much slower brain aging than those who oppose change. According to research from the Department of Neurology at Harvard Medical School, the brain continues to create new neural pathways far into our 80s and beyond, according to Dr. Alvaro Pascual-Leon's groundbreaking neuroplasticity research, but only when we present it with novel learning opportunities. Saying those 7 lethal words causes your mind to be programmed to stop adapting and developing naturally. According to studies from Harvard, seniors who routinely use new technologies have 35% faster processing speeds and 40% greater memory retention than those who don't. Your words are interpreted as commands by your brain. Furthermore, you're effectively telling your neural networks to cease creating new connections when you keep saying that you're too old to learn. Take the case of Harvey, a 76-year-old Portland-based retired mechanic who, after receiving a smartphone from his kids, refused to use it for 3 years. He began to feel more alone and bewildered as his memory began to deteriorate. After he made the decision to study 1 new app per week, his cognitive test results significantly increased in just 2 months. Harvey demonstrates that age is never a barrier to learning by managing his doctor's appointments, staying in touch with family, and even learning how to use internet banking. Use this potent substitute for that poisonous term right away. Today I'm learning something new. These 6 words tell your neural pathways to remain open and flexible and engage the learning centers of your brain. Take 5 minutes every day to experiment with 1 new feature on your tablet, computer, or phone. Start retraining your brain for success. Rather than decline now, don't put it off any longer. Second, never claim that the doctor is the one who understands what's best for you. After the age of 70, blind medical compliance can literally be fatal. Seniors who never question their doctors have 40% more risky drug interactions and 60% more needless procedures than those who actively participate in their healthcare decisions. According to Mayo Clinic medication safety research conducted by physician Robert Pignon, seniors who don't speak up or ask questions during doctor's appointments are far more likely to experience drug errors, according to the Mayo Clinic's Patient Safety Division. You give up control over choices that directly affect your life expectancy and quality of life when you blindly submit to medical authority without challenge. Seniors who ask targeted questions during consultations are 70% more likely to identify possible prescription problems than passive patients, according to research from the Mayo Clinic. Unless you speak up and remain involved, your doctor may not recall your entire medical history or current problems because they see dozens of patients every week. When Stanley, a 74-year-old Tampa resident, eventually began to doubt his doctor's advice, he learnt this life-saving fact. He had been feeling tired and lightheaded for months, but he had never brought it up since he thought his doctor would take care of anything serious. Stanley's doctor identified a combination of medications that were causing his problems and promptly changed his therapy after he learnt to ask 3 particular questions at every appointment. Within days, Stanley regained his vigor and escaped a potentially fatal collapse. Make the most of your upcoming doctor's appointment by always asking these 3 crucial questions. Why and exactly what are you prescribing? What adverse effects should I be on the lookout for? What effects will this have on my ongoing treatments? Prior to your visit, write out these questions and stay until you receive concise, intelligible responses. Starting today and actively participating in your healthcare decisions will truly change your life. The next piece of advice is to never remark, "I don't want to be a burden." This seemingly thoughtful statement is actually a death sentence disguised as a warning. According to longitudinal studies conducted by Dr. Catherine Milan and the American Geriatric Society on senior independence and mortality rates, seniors who turn down assistance when they need it have a 30% lower life expectancy and a 45% higher rate of emergency hospitalizations than those who establish strong support networks early in life. Millions of seniors avoid seeking assistance when minor issues are still controllable because they fear becoming a burden, which causes minor problems to worsen into life-threatening crises. When you turn down help because you don't want to burden other people, you're really making things much worse when your situation gets urgent. Seniors who seek assistance early need 60% less rigorous intervention than those who wait until they are in crisis, according to research by the American Geriatric Society. Because you waited too long to get in touch, your family and friends would much prefer assist you save your freedom than watch you lose it all. Think about the case of Jerome, a proud 71-year-old Phoenix resident who realized he was struggling financially but would not approach his daughter for assistance. His credit was harmed by missed invoices within 6 months. He was in danger of being evicted, and his utilities were all but cut off. In one day, Jerome's daughter helped him set up automated bill payments after he finally asked for help, resolving an issue that had become needlessly disastrous. Jerome now understands that rather than endangering his independence, seeking assistance early on really maintained it. Change your perspective right away by substituting, "I'm building my support team for I don't want to be a burden." Determine 3 persons you could contact for various kinds of assistance to start today. 1 for emotional support, 1 for household chores, and 1 for transportation. This week, get in touch with everyone and inform them that you are establishing a network of support for one another. Don't wait until you are in dire need of assistance to find out who is willing to offer it. Thing 4, never say, "My memory problems are just normal aging." Dismissing memory changes as normal aging can cost you precious years of cognitive function and may prevent you from receiving treatments that could dramatically slow or even reverse your symptoms. Johns Hopkins School of Medicine researchers, led by Dr. Marilyn Albert, have found that many conditions causing memory problems in seniors are completely treatable when caught early, including vitamin deficiencies, sleep disorders, depression, and medication side effects. Their Baltimore longitudinal study of aging shows that seniors who report memory concerns immediately maintain better cognitive function than those who ignore early warning signs. The dangerous myth that memory loss is inevitable after 70 prevents millions of seniors from getting potentially life-changing help. Johns Hopkins neurologists report that up to 40% of memory problems in seniors stem from treatable conditions that have nothing to do with dementia or Alzheimer's disease. When you dismiss memory changes as normal, you're potentially missing the narrow window when intervention can make the biggest difference in preserving your cognitive abilities. Brenda, a 72-year-old teacher from Seattle, started forgetting familiar words and losing her train of thought mid-sentence. Instead of dismissing these changes, she immediately scheduled a comprehensive evaluation with her doctor. Testing revealed that a combination of sleep apnea and vitamin B12 deficiency was causing her symptoms. After 3 months of treatment, Brenda's memory and concentration returned to normal, and she avoided years of unnecessary cognitive decline. Report any memory change to your healthcare provider within 48 hours of noticing it, no matter how minor it seems. Keep a simple notebook where you record specific examples of memory concerns, including dates and circumstances. Schedule a comprehensive cognitive evaluation that includes blood tests, sleep studies, and medication reviews to identify all possible treatable causes. Early detection and intervention can preserve your mental sharpness for decades to come. Thing 1, never ignore balance problems or dizziness. Dismissing balance issues or dizziness as simply getting older is one of the most dangerous mistakes you can make after 70. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that falls, are the leading cause of injury-related death among seniors, with one American over 65 dying from a fall every 19 minutes. CDC data shows that even mild balance problems increase your fall risk by 300%. And once you fall once, your risk of falling again doubles within the following year. Balance problems after 70 are never normal and always indicate an underlying issue that needs immediate attention. The CDC's injury prevention research reveals that 95% of hip fractures in seniors result from falls, and 20% of seniors who fracture their hips die within 1 year from complications. What starts as occasional dizziness or feeling slightly unsteady can quickly progress to a fall that ends your independence permanently and dramatically shortens your life expectancy. Kathleen, a 69-year-old from Boston, noticed she felt slightly dizzy when standing up, but convinced herself it was just part of aging. 3 weeks later, she fell in her bathroom and broke her wrist, requiring surgery and months of physical therapy. During her recovery, doctors discovered that her dizziness was caused by an easily treatable inner ear condition and a blood pressure issue that could have been resolved with simple interventions if she'd sought help immediately. Start doing these 3 simple balance exercises every morning before you get out of bed. Stand on one foot for 30 seconds, walk heel to toe across your bedroom, and practice standing up from a chair without using your hands. If any of these exercises feel difficult or make you dizzy, call your doctor that same day. Don't wait for a fall to get the help you need, because your next stumble could be your last. Thing 2. Never skip meals or eat alone. Constantly eating irregularly or dining alone most of the time creates a dangerous downward spiral that can rapidly destroy your health and independence after 70. The National Institute on Aging's nutrition research shows that 30% of seniors become malnourished not because food isn't available, but because they lose interest in eating when meals become solitary, rushed, or forgotten. Malnutrition in seniors leads to weakened immune systems, increased fall risk, slower wound healing, and significantly higher rates of hospitalization. When you skip meals or eat alone constantly, your body begins shutting down non-essential functions to conserve energy, starting with muscle mass and bone density. The National Institute on Aging found that seniors who eat irregular meals lose muscle mass 40% faster than those who maintain consistent eating schedules. Social isolation during meals also contributes to depression and cognitive decline, creating a vicious cycle where poor eating leads to worse health, which leads to more isolation and even poorer nutrition. Ralph, a 73-year-old widower from Milwaukee, started skipping breakfast and often forgot about lunch after his wife passed away. Within 4 months, he'd lost 25 lbs, felt constantly tired, and caught every cold that went around his neighborhood. His doctor warned that continued weight loss could land him in the hospital. Ralph joined a senior dining program at his local community center, started setting meal alarms on his phone, and regained his strength within 2 months. Set 3 daily alarms on your phone labeled breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And don't ignore them, even if you don't feel hungry. Find at least one eating companion each week, whether it's a neighbor, family member, or local senior dining group where you can share meals and conversation. Prepare simple, nutritious meals ahead of time when you have energy, so healthy food is always ready when meal alarms go off. Your body can't afford to miss another meal. Thing 3. Never drive when you feel slightly off. Getting behind the wheel when you feel even slightly tired, dizzy, confused, or not quite right can turn your car into a deadly weapon that threatens your life and the lives of others. AARP's research on senior driving safety shows that reaction times slow by up to 40% when seniors drive during moments when they feel slightly off, and the risk of accidents increases by 250% compared to driving when feeling completely alert and focused. What seems like a minor inconvenience to wait or ask for a ride can prevent a tragedy that changes multiple lives forever. Your brain's ability to process multiple streams of information while driving declines significantly when you're experiencing any form of physical or mental distress. AP's driving studies reveal that seniors who continue driving when feeling unwell cause 60% more accidents than those who honestly assess their condition before getting behind the wheel. The split-second decisions required for safe driving become impossible when your cognitive resources are already compromised by fatigue, medication effects, or physical discomfort. Mitchell, a 70-year-old from Dallas, felt slightly lightheaded one morning, but decided to drive to his doctor's appointment anyway because he didn't want to bother his son. Halfway there, his dizziness worsened and he rear-ended another car at a red light, injuring himself and a young mother in the other vehicle. Mitchell's honest assessment with his doctor revealed that a simple medication timing issue was causing his morning dizziness, a problem that could have been solved with a phone call instead of a car accident. Before starting your car every single time, ask yourself this simple question: do I feel as alert and focused as I did when I passed my driving test? If the answer is anything other than absolutely yes, find another way to reach your destination. Keep a list of 3 reliable transportation alternatives in your wallet: family members, taxi services, or ride-sharing apps. Don't gamble with lives over a few minutes of inconvenience. Thing 4, never isolate yourself from social connections. Cutting yourself off from regular social interaction after 70 is more dangerous to your health than smoking, obesity, or high blood pressure, according to groundbreaking research from Harvard Medical School's Department of Social Medicine. Dr. Robert Waldinger's Harvard study of adult development, which has followed subjects for over 80 years, found that social isolation increases mortality risk by 26% in seniors and accelerates cognitive decline at rates comparable to severe chronic diseases. Loneliness literally changes your brain chemistry and immune function in ways that dramatically shorten your lifespan. When you withdraw from social connections, your brain interprets isolation as a threat and triggers chronic stress responses that damage your cardiovascular system, weaken your immune defenses, and accelerate cellular aging. Harvard researchers discovered that socially isolated seniors show brain changes similar to those seen in trauma victims, including increased inflammation and disrupted sleep patterns. The absence of regular meaningful conversations and shared experiences literally rewires your neural pathways in ways that promote depression, anxiety, and faster cognitive decline. Clarence, a 74-year-old retired engineer from Portland, gradually stopped attending his weekly poker game and church services after his best friend moved to another state. Within 6 months, Clarence was sleeping poorly, felt constantly anxious, and his family noticed he seemed confused and forgetful. When his daughter encouraged him to rejoin his social activities and add a weekly volunteer commitment at the local library, Clarence's mood and mental sharpness returned to normal within just 8 weeks. Schedule one meaningful social interaction every week that involves face-to-face conversation, lasting at least 30 minutes. This could be coffee with a neighbor, volunteering at a local organization, joining a senior center activity, or attending religious services. Make this social appointment as non-negotiable as a medical appointment, because your life literally depends on it. Loneliness is a silent killer, but connection is powerful medicine that you can access starting today. Place 1. Never go to medical appointments alone. Attending medical appointments without an advocate or support person after 70 dramatically increases your risk of missing critical health information and makes you vulnerable to medical errors that could be life-threatening. Research from Johns Hopkins Patient Advocacy Institute shows that seniors who attend appointments alone retain only 30% of important medical information discussed during visits compared to 85% retention when accompanied by an advocate. The complex medical terminology, multiple instructions, and emotional stress of health concerns make it nearly impossible for anyone to process and remember everything discussed during appointments. Medical appointments after 70 often involve complex treatment decisions, medication adjustments, and important lifestyle recommendations that can significantly impact your independence and quality of life. Johns Hopkins researchers found that seniors with advocates present during appointments are 70% more likely to catch potential medication errors, ask important follow-up questions, and receive appropriate referrals to specialists when needed. Your advocate serves as a second set of eyes and ears, ensuring that nothing important is missed or misunderstood. Dolores, a 71-year-old from Phoenix, attended a cardiology appointment alone and thought she understood her new treatment plan perfectly. However, she misheard critical instructions about her blood thinner dosage and took twice the recommended amount for 2 weeks. When her daughter finally accompanied her to a follow-up appointment, They discovered the dosage error that could have caused a dangerous bleeding episode. Having her daughter present prevented a potentially life-threatening medication mistake. Bring a trusted family member or friend to every medical appointment, or ask your doctor's office about recording visits on your smartphone so you can review important information later. If no one can accompany you, hire a professional patient advocate or ask about telephone speaker options that allow a family member to participate remotely. Prepare a list of questions before each appointment and designate your advocate to take detailed notes. Your health is too important to navigate alone. Place 2. Never go to unfamiliar places without backup. Venturing to unfamiliar locations without a safety backup plan puts you at serious risk if you experience a medical emergency, get lost, or encounter unexpected problems. The National Institute on Aging's emergency response research shows that seniors who experience health crisis in unfamiliar locations wait an average of 6 hours longer for help, compared to those who have location-sharing technology and emergency contacts activated. When you're in an unknown area and something goes wrong, every minute counts. And having immediate access to help can mean the difference between a minor incident and a life-threatening situation. Unfamiliar environments present unique challenges for seniors, including confusing layouts, poor lighting, uneven surfaces, and lack of nearby assistance if problems arise. The National Institute on Aging found that seniors are 300% more likely to fall or become disoriented in unfamiliar settings compared to familiar environments. Without a backup plan, a simple trip to a new medical facility, shopping center, or social venue can quickly become dangerous if you experience dizziness, confusion, chest pain, or any other health concern. Vincent, a 72-year-old from Denver, drove to a new medical specialist across town without telling anyone his destination or expected return time. During the appointment, Vincent felt chest pain, but was too embarrassed to mention it and drove home, feeling increasingly unwell. He collapsed in his driveway 3 hours later, and paramedics later explained that his heart attack could have been treated much more effectively if he'd received help immediately when symptoms started at the medical office. Before visiting any unfamiliar location, share your exact destination, planned route, and expected return time with at least 2 people who can check on you if you don't return as scheduled. Download a location-sharing app on your smartphone and activate it whenever you travel to new places. Carry a card with emergency contact information and any medical conditions clearly listed. Never assume that help will be readily available in unfamiliar environments. Place 3. Never go to crowded events during peak illness seasons. Attending crowded gatherings during flu season, holidays, or other peak illness periods dramatically increases your risk of contracting serious infections that can be life-threatening after 70. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that seniors over 70 are 5 times more likely to develop severe complications from respiratory infections compared to younger adults. And crowded indoor events create perfect conditions for rapid disease transmission. Your immune system becomes less effective at fighting off infections as you age, making what might be a minor cold for a younger person potentially deadly for you. Crowded events during peak illness seasons expose you to hundreds of people who may be carrying viruses or bacteria, many of whom don't realize they're contagious yet. CDC research shows that respiratory infections spread 400% faster in crowded indoor environments, and seniors who attend large gatherings during high transmission periods are hospitalized at rates 300% higher than those who avoid crowds during these times. The temporary enjoyment of a crowded event isn't worth risking weeks in the hospital or permanent damage to your health. Lucille, a 73-year-old from Chicago, insisted on attending her grandson's crowded graduation ceremony in December, despite her daughter's concerns about flu season. Within 3 days, Lucille developed what seemed like a simple cold, but her symptoms rapidly worsened into pneumonia that required 2 weeks of hospitalization. Her doctors explained that her immune system couldn't fight the infection effectively, and avoiding crowded events during peak illness season could have prevented the entire ordeal. Plan your social calendar strategically by scheduling important events during lower risk periods and avoiding large gatherings from November through March when respiratory infections peak. When you must attend crowded events, sit near exits for better air circulation. Avoid shaking hands or hugging, And leave immediately if you notice people coughing or sneezing nearby. Your immune system can't fight infections like it used to, so prevention is your most powerful defense. Engage a place 4. Never go to high-risk areas without support. Navigating areas with stairs, wet surfaces, uneven pavement, or poor lighting without proper support significantly increases your fall risk and could result in injuries that end your independence permanently. Emergency room data shows that 60% of serious fall injuries in seniors over 70 occur in predictable high-risk environments that could have been made safer with simple precautions. One moment of overconfidence in a dangerous area can lead to fractures, head injuries, or other trauma that requires months of recovery and may leave you permanently disabled. High-risk environments become exponentially more dangerous after 70 because of natural changes in balance, vision, reaction time, and bone density that make falls more likely and more severe. Emergency medicine research reveals that seniors who fall in high-risk areas are 400% more likely to require surgery and 200% more likely to lose independent living status compared to those who fall in safer environments. What seems like a minor inconvenience to wait for help or use safety equipment can prevent a catastrophic injury that changes your life forever. Theodore, a 75-year-old from Atlanta, decided to retrieve something from his basement storage area alone on a rainy day, when the wooden stairs were slightly damp. He slipped on the third step down and fractured 3 ribs, requiring emergency surgery and 6 weeks of recovery, during which he couldn't live independently. Theodore now uses the handrail every time and never goes to the basement when conditions aren't perfect, realizing that his storage items weren't worth risking his independence. Identify every high-risk area in your daily environment, including stairs, bathrooms, basements, and outdoor walkways, and establish safety protocols for each location before you need them. Install adequate lighting, handrails, and non-slip surfaces wherever possible, and never rush through these areas, regardless of time pressure. Always use assistive devices like handrails, walking sticks, or grab bars, even if you think you don't need them. Make your environment safe before it makes you unsafe. These 12 life-changing guidelines can transform your 70s from a time of constant worry into your most confident and independent decade yet. Every senior who thrives past 70 follows these essential rules, while those who struggle ignore them at their own peril. You now have the power to choose which path you'll take, and that choice will determine whether you spend your remaining years thriving or merely surviving. Which of these 12 deadly mistakes have you been making without realizing the danger? Share your honest answer in the comments below, because your experience could help save another senior's life. Hit that like button if you're ready to make these changes starting today, and share this video with any senior who deserves to live safely and independently for decades to come. These 12 rules could be the difference between a long, healthy life and becoming another preventable statistic.